From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on Newstalk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it is Newstalk KZRG. Ted Bojorquez and Steve Scott. And joining us this morning is Missouri Secretary of State and Gubernatorial candidate Jay Ashcroft. How you doing this morning, Jay?
I'm doing well. Great to be back.
Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Jay Ashcroft, I was curious, so you're running for governor here for the great state of Missouri, and I wanted to know and get a little insight on your view of the role of governor and where in state governance do you think the role of governor fits?
Well, I think the role of the governor is to be the leader, is the main officer of the executive branch, is the individual that presents the budget, that is the starting place for budget discussions. It is the bully pulpit. I think that should be the individual in state government that's creating the vision for the state. You know, the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people perish. And unfortunately, we're seeing other states that are moving forward, that are releasing the potential of the people of their states, that are putting parents in charge of education, are really cracking down on crime, that are reducing government to get it out of the way. And we haven't had that leadership in this state, and we need it.
It's Missouri Secretary of State and Gubernatorial candidate Jay Ashcroft here on Newstalk KZRG. And Jay, if elected governor, where would you like for the role of governor to be more active within state governance in people's lives in Missouri, and where would you like to see it be less active?
I think it needs to be more active in the legislative process. It needs to be more active in working with the leadership of the legislature to drive conservative policy, not just to say conservative things, but get conservative things done, to put an end to pay for play, to actually decrease the size of our government. You know, our budget's doubled in the last 5, 6, 7 years, depending on how you want to count it up. Either way, it's too large, it's too big, and it's getting in the way of the people of the state. I want to see the governor change our educational system so that every parent is in charge of the educational funds. They decide where their children are going to be educated, how they're going to be educated, the values of that education. I want to see a state that finally gets rid of our state income tax so that the individuals, we're no longer taxing you for working and then giving that money subsidizing people that don't want to work, including illegal aliens and illegal immigrants that are in our state. We need a governor that's going to talk to the people, listen to the people also, and say, this is where we can go. This is how we can move our state forward, how we can elevate our state instead of bringing it in for a soft landing. And this is how we do it. We need leadership.
Yeah. Missouri Secretary of State and Gubernatorial candidate Jay Ashcroft. I thought it was interesting you saying that you wanted to see the governor be more proactive in the legislative process. And I know just this last legislative session here in Missouri was a little bit tumultuous, especially with some of the Democrats participating in filibustering and stopping conservative stuff from getting done on the Senate side of things. What would you do as governor specifically to help amend that in the future? Would you reach across the divide? Would you try and work on negotiations? What would that process for you look like?
A couple things. One, the governor needs to set the vision for the state. Ordinary, everyday people in this state have no clue what the governor's top 3 priorities are this year. That's not good. We need a governor that creates that vision. 2, you need a governor that is working with the leadership, that's listening to the people of the state to say, what are you seeing as a problem? Here are the problems I see. What are your solutions? Here's what I see as a solution. And then kind of coalesces those into a game plan for the state, regularly meeting with leadership and regularly getting around this state to meet with the people to explain how Missouri can be made better. And when there are recalcitrant legislators, is spending time in their districts saying, look, we're trying to move this state forward. This is what we want to do for you. We want you to be in charge, and your legislator is stopping it. We're not using the bully pulpit to really lead.
Jay Ashcroft running for Missouri governor here on Newstalk KZRG. What is your stance on abortion? And as governor, how will you support that stance?
Well, I believe that every life is precious and that Missouri should be the number one state in not only protecting life, but in protecting women that are going through what has arguably been said that the most difficult situation a woman might ever go through in her life. and making sure that not only is that preborn child taken care of and that it has a great future, but making sure those women going through that difficult situation know that they have a tremendous future, that there is support, that there is hope, that they are loved, and whatever they're going through, they will get through it, and both lives can be successful. I'm the only candidate, and I'm the only candidate that will be. I'm the only candidate that has been endorsed by Missouri Right to Life in this race because of not just my commitment to protecting life, but my leadership on the issue in the past.
And Jay Ashcroft, would you consider the abortion issue to be within your top 3 priorities if elected governor? And if not, what are your top 3 priorities?
My top, well, unfortunately, we may very well have a constitutional amendment on the ballot that would really take that out of the abilities of any elected official to deal with. We don't know if it will get on the ballot. Election authorities across the state are looking at those signatures right now to see if they have valid signatures. If it does get on the ballot, I would ask all Missourians to vote against it because I do not think it is not good for the people of the state. It is not good for Missouri. But my top 3 priorities are educational freedom. We're seeing it happen in Iowa. We're seeing it happen in Arkansas and Arizona and, other states across this nation. We need to unleash the potential of our people. Fewer than 25% of Missouri 8th graders are proficient in math and reading. That's morally terrible. It's unbelievable. We need to get public safety under control so that citizens can truly be free to live their lives and make their own decisions without fear of being accosted, of fear of the lack of safety of where they live. And finally, we've got to get the size and scope of government under control. Government isn't the solution. Government is the problem. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. That's why I want to get rid of the state income tax, and that's why I want to repeal the latest 12.5-cent gas tax that was pushed over the will of the people.
It's Missouri State Governor, Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, who's running for Missouri Governor here on Newstalk KZRG. Jay Ashcroft, rural areas in southwest Missouri and really across Missouri, too often do we see these smaller cities and townships get lost and forgotten in the shuffle of state governance and national government. What will you do to work with rural communities in the state of Missouri to drive more opportunities for them?
Well, first of all, you need an executive that has an understanding that both rural and urban Missouri matter, that when either of them does badly, it hurts the other, and that Missouri will never be the best that it can be unless both of them are doing well. And then you've got to make sure that you have accountability and rural areas have the ability to have power and authority over how state spending and how regulations and laws are done. I mean, look at the 12.5-cent gas tax that was passed over the will of the people. The people had rejected it multiple times. That money was taken out of the oversight of the legislature. So your state representative, your state senator in a rural area, they can't stand up and say, Missouri transportation, you're not going to get this money unless you take care of the people in my district, unless you worry about our roads or our flooding or our bridges. That was just taken off the table, and now you have a commission that makes that decision. You need to make sure that everyone is involved in making those decisions. You have to understand that when each part of Missouri does better, the whole state does better. You have to think about concerns with getting health care. You have to think with concerns about getting jobs. Well, best way to get jobs is to have good public safety, to have good schools, and get red tape and the government out of the way. Generally speaking, what's good to help the rural areas is also good for helping the urban areas.
And Jay Ashcroft, we're pushing up against the clock here, but I know that you have an event actually in Joplin this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, going to be at Granny Schaefer's in about half an hour, 45 minutes, meeting with people, let them find out more about me, ask me questions, kick my tires. I go to every county in the state every year. I think it's important. I don't know how someone really runs the state well without getting out and listening to the people of the state and using that knowledge and that wisdom to do a great job.
Absolutely. It's Jay Ashcroft here at Newstalk KZRG. He's running for governor for the state of Missouri. He's currently the Missouri Secretary of State. And Jay, finally, very quickly, if you had one last elevator pitch for those listening as to why they should vote for you for governor, what would it be?
Results, not talk. Not social media videos or likes and clicks, but a history in government of actually moving conservative policy forward and serving the people of the state.
It's Jay Ashcroft, the current Missouri Secretary of State, current gubernatorial candidate for Missouri. Jay, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you again soon, Jay. It's News Talk, KZRG.